See, something that always bothered me is whenever I ask somebody what they're doing, and they say that they're watching Netflix. And that bothers me because I feel like you should just either tell me the name of the show you're watching, or just say I'm watching TV. But Netflix is such a weird level of specificity that you wouldn't use for any other activity. If you were at dinner and somebody said, hey, what are you doing? You wouldn't say, oh, I'm eating with a fork. Say, hey man, you go anywhere cool for spring break? Yeah, we went on a plane. What are you listening to? Guitar sounds? What's your favorite color? It's primary color. Something else that bothers me is I was on Facebook today and I feel like there are way too many of these like top 10 lists of things. And some of them caused me to do kind of a double take. Like, really? I saw one today. It said top 10 child actors who died too young. Which, duh, right? They're all children. And of course. You see a lot of weird things on the internet though. The worst thing to come across on the internet really is a really hot person that you don't know. Because then what happens is you see an attractive person, you look at some of their pictures, then you realize you see that they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever. And what happens next is interesting because a lot of times you get disappointed. As if that's the one thing keeping you from having a shot with this person you're never going to meet. I've been thinking about that wrong my whole life. Honestly, it's good. Right? This person has a boyfriend. She's saving me the embarrassment, if anything, right? Doing me a favor. And you know, that's a somewhat helpful thing to know. But it took me a long time to realize that. And then meanwhile, I'll have completely useless epiphanies all the fucking time. It just dawned on me the other day, for instance, that prostitution is the only job where they call the manager on you. Has anyone here ever gotten into a fight with a hooker before? Yeah. Right, and I imagine you probably never at any point in that discussion said, you know what, no, can I talk to your pimp, please? Is there a pimp around here I can speak to? You don't want that. On the other hand, though, it does always seem weird to me that managers of, say, restaurants, for instance, always take the customer side. Because the customer's always right? Nah. Customer's wrong a lot of times. The customer in a lot of these scenarios is a middle-aged white lady bitching about something completely inconsequential that doesn't matter at all. And then they call the manager at what? You didn't say anything to me, did you? That's fine. You're the manager, you come out, just imagine you have your employee who you kind of know and work with on one side, and then, like I said, my mom on the other side. Whose side are you going to take? It's a nightmare, guys. I hate eating out with my mom. Because she'll bitch about every little thing. And she doesn't make it easy for these poor people either. She does this thing where she'll complain about her food, they'll come out and obviously they have to offer to replace it, they'll be like, let me get you another one, and she'll go, oh no, you don't need to do that. And finally got fed up with it, and I said, you know, if it doesn't warrant replacing, and you're still eating this one, why do you say anything? And then she did that thing where you look around the room all angrily, like, hey, she goes, I'm trying to get him to take it off the bill. Oh. Okay. Oh. All right, so you're just trying to get free food. I understand that. I can sympathize with that. But the worst thing she does, she will bitch to them on my behalf. That doesn't sit well with me. I've learned eating out with my mom that I need to keep my mouth fucking shut. Because otherwise something will happen where we'll be eating and she'll say, how's your food? And I'll say, oh, it's good. This one chicken nugget's a little cold though. And she'll be like, oh, hold on. I got this. Hey, sir, come over here. And then I look like a total pussy because as far as this guy knows, he's looking at me thinking, this coward bitch getting his mom to complain to me for him. My mom really is a thorn in my side. Growing up, though, our dad was the one that we were more worried about. Me and my sister thought he was the one we needed to be afraid of. He would threaten us with things that I misunderstood as a child, and I was way more afraid than I needed to be. For example, especially around the holidays, something my dad would say to my sister when we were being little dicks. He'd go, hey, knock it off or I'll cancel Christmas this year. Which I realize now just meant that he wouldn't give us presents like in our household, but back then I thought he had the authority to actually like call off the holiday for the whole world. And that was a lot of pressure on me to be able to. I was like, oh shit. Every time I caught myself acting a fool, I would think of that. I'd think, oh fuck, no, pull your shit together. You're gonna have a lot of people to answer to you for this one. Just dreading the day that I walk into school and some kid says, hey, I heard about what you did. My parents didn't get me jack shit this year because you. They went to the store, they bought me a bike, and they got to the cash register, and the cashier said, I'm sorry, I can't sell you this. They said, why? Oh yeah, Paul Jeffrey's children are being assholes this year. No sale. When I have kids, I'm going to handle Christmas a little bit differently, though. Because I do want to have kids. I think they're great, but I've heard that they're not cheap. You got to feed them, you got to clothe them, and drive them places. And that's all well and good. But buying your kids Christmas presents is an expense that I think that I have a way to get out of. I'm going to share with you a little life hack now. By the way, I apologize for all the Christmas-related jokes in the middle of March, but I wasn't in UpChuckles when they did the Christmas show, so you're going to hear this now. Anyway, you know how little kids are really gullible and they'll believe in a lot of holiday-related entities? Which is strange, by the way, right? Like when you're telling a kid something, they'll be way more inclined to believe it if you attach it to a holiday. If you go to a little kid and say, oh, I saw a dragon on my way home from work, they'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about dragons? If you say, hey, the Boxing Day dragon's gonna visit us this year. Oh shit! I can't wait! Oh, he brings us lots of boxes. So anyway, that's the foundation of this cool trick I'm about to share. Do you remember the story of how the Grinch stole Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, why wouldn't I be able to pass that off as a true story to my children? Then they believe he's real and I never have to buy gifts ever again. Right? You picture Christmas morning, my kid goes downstairs, he looks under the tree, doesn't see anything. He says, Dad, what's going on? I go, oh no. I mean, I know for a fact that Santa got you that bike, but I guess the Grinch ganked it. Yeah, no, calm down. I'll call the police, but they still haven't found any of your gifts from the last 8 years this happened. Hold your breath, son. The other thing that's great about that is I feel like it's a good opportunity to blow off some steam. And I think that that could be a lot of fun. You know how on Christmas, families will often make a bunch of evidence up. They'll leave out the half-eaten cookie and the glass of milk, some footprints and shit, fake reindeer puke in the yard or whatever. And that's fun for everyone, but just imagine how much better that would be doing that, but for a sinister character. We're walking through the hallway the next morning, and my son's still upset, and rightfully so. He says, Dad, are you sure we got... I was like, oh yeah, no, the Grinch was here. See, like, he punched a hole in the wall right over there. There's a broken vase. Took a shit on the floor. Drew a swastika on the fridge. He was here. I'm sorry. That's a great idea because it saves me money. But I have one that's even better. Because this next idea makes me money. And it's based on the same idea, playing on my children's gullibility. Do you remember the Tooth Fairy? Yes. Fuck the Tooth Fairy. That's a bullshit thing to spend money on, right? Why do we buy our children's teeth? So I was scheming and I thought to myself, well, wait, if children believe in a Tooth Fairy that pays them for their teeth, shouldn't be too tough a sell to convince them of, say, I don't know, a tooth goblin that they have to give money to, right? And so here's how that one works. My kid loses his first tooth, and he freaks out, rightfully so. He goes, Dad, tooth fell out of my mouth. What do? It's just gone. I'm worse at eating things now. Help. I'll say, all right, don't worry. I've heard about something like this happening once before, actually. I happen to know a goblin who can make a new one grow back in its place. It doesn't come cheap. Pop an Andrew Jackson under your pillow tonight. I think he can get you. I was so excited about this idea I told my roommate about it. I was like, this is great. I'm going to make so much money. Fuck children. It's going to be awesome. He said, no, that's a horrible plan. And I said, why? He's like, because when your children at the age that they're losing teeth, the only money they have is cash that you already gave them for doing chores and allowances and shit. And I don't think that's right, though, because when you're a real little kid, your biggest source of income, it's not your allowance. It's your grandma. That's right, Mom. All those birthday cards to little Johnny coming right back into my pocket. That's tooth goblin money, bitch. Pay me back for all the times you embarrassed me at the restaurant. All right.